Hello everyone. I'm gonna wait a minute or two. Hi everyone. I'm gonna wait a minute. I'm gonna wait about 30 seconds to allow folks to join for this Facebook Live. My name is Mary McClements, and I am calling in from sunny Colorado. It's good morning here, it's good afternoon in a lot of places. So again, my name is Mary McClements. I am a trauma and career clarity coach at From Within Coaching, and I'm here today for this short Facebook Live to talk about communications, and not just any communications, not or random techniques or suggestions, but how your Clifton Strengths can affect your communication. And we're just going to be just hitting the surface of this because there are other Facebook Lives coming up in the future. So there are thousands of books and blogs and websites and workshops about communication. And everyone has an opinion, and there are millions of subcategories around communication. And when I searched Amazon for books on communication, there were hundreds and hundreds of pages of books. Everything from communicating in conflict, communicating to be heard, communicating with your dead ancestors, which is not the type of communication that I'm going to be talking about today. But the topic of communication is so overwhelming. And again, we're just going to be scratching the surface. We're going to be talking about your Clifton Strengths and communications. But let's start first by comparing effective versus ineffective elements of communication. So what are the elements of effective communication? Most people agree that being concise and having a time base and knowing your audience and adjusting accordingly and body language are all parts of effective communication. But those four things, as well as others, can also have an opposite effect. So let's take concise. Concise can actually have a lack of clarity if it's too concise. Show up to the meeting prepared. Well, what does that mean? I don't know. Do I come with my paper and pencil or computer or spreadsheets? Like, what does that mean to be prepared? So it's concise, but it's not enough. And then time-based, the opposite effect on good communication of time-based is it may inhibit good work. I need this done in an hour. If you gave it an hour and a half or 2 hours, maybe the outcome would be better. And then knowing your audience and adjusting accordingly. We're going to talk about that again, but that also can have the opposite effect because you may go into assuming that you know where your audience is coming from, how they communicate. And then body language, right? That can be misinterpreted. For a long time, people were told that if someone's sitting like this, they're disinterested, they're not engaged. But really, I mean, it's just a comfortable way to put your arms. Sometimes it can mean that, but so body language can be really misinterpreted. So some examples of ineffectual communication, which again can have, can find its place. So what about yelling, right? No one wants to be yelling or be yelled at when communicating, but what if it's like a watch out? That yelling is really effective. And then there's the idea of refusing to engage. Sometimes that's considered really poor communication, but other times, if the conversation's too heated, a break is needed. All right. And what about swearing all the time? I mean, I love swearing a lot, but it's not effective, right? It's not effective when communicating at work, especially, or with your family. And if you're going to use it occasionally, it might have more weight. And then manipulation. Again, right? No one wants to be manipulated when they're in conversation with somebody, but manipulation for those influencers can be really closely related to sales and job interviews. And then impatience, right? Like if you're talking with somebody and they're being impatient, they just want to say, sometimes, right? Again, we don't, that's not fun to be talking to somebody who's really impatient, but sometimes when time is of the essence, impatience is really important. So I'm going to do a little segue here, and I'm going to offer that you try a little exercise to do on your own. Um, and it's around your top 5 Clifton strengths. So if you're watching this, hopefully you know what your top 5 Clifton strengths are. If not, then I would go to the Clifton Strengths website and take the assessments, like $24, and it's very, very helpful. But this exercise is called Love Banana, and it's all about awareness. And so what I want you to do another time when we're off the video is I want you to get two pieces of paper, and on one of them, you're going to draw a representation of a strength. You could do this with your partner or your child or a colleague, um, and what you love about that strength. So you're going to draw a representation of a strength and just think about what you love about that strength. And then on the other piece of paper, you're going to draw a representation of one of the strengths that drives you bananas. So my number one strength is ideation. So I may represent that strength with a little light bulb that's shining, or maybe a little brain or big brain. And what I love about having ideation as a strength is that I always have new ideas. It's easy for me to come up with solutions um, to challenges that others may not have thought of. And I love that it just comes naturally to me. I don't even really have to think about it. So that would be, I would draw a little brain and I would, contemplate what I love about that strength. I also have strategic, and which I love for many, many reasons, but still, it can be really tough to unplug from strategic to the point where I can't move from one room to another in my house or anywhere really without strategizing. Okay, what am I going to pick up here and put there, and finding the path of least resistance, like my brain is always going and it really can be exhausting. All right. So, what do strengths have to do with communication? Well, the different themes, which are strategic, relationship, influencing, and executing, tend to thrive in communication differently. So, strategic, for people who have strategic strengths, good communication means really engaging their unique genius at the front end of, let's say, new projects or possibilities or problem solving, right? They're good at problem solving, those strategic theme folks. If you bring them in too late in, let's say, a team setting, you may have missed the chance for them to poke holes in the plans to then improve the plan. So that's strategic. Relationship building team. These folks know how to build consensus and community and can keep people smiling even through the hardest phases of a project. And I'm kind of focusing this on teams and projects, but it relates to your personal life as well. So if you have a conflict, bring in the relationship building folks, because they can help resolve it peacefully. Generally, it's not a one size fits all. But effective communication for relationship builders focuses on listening and understanding, understanding diverse needs, and creating often a safe and affirming environment where everyone's being heard. And then there's the executing theme. They're the get or done folks, the types with, whom good communication focuses really on the 5 W's, the who, what, when, where, and why. And they will provide the how. So give people with executing themes clear goals, boundaries, and the opportunity to succeed. And they're going to laser focus, and finish tasks and projects. So really everybody wins there. And then there's the influencing team. Oh, I'm getting some nice messages. Thank you. There's the influencing theme. I'm sure there's an influencing team somewhere too, but the influencing theme, they thrive on communication in pursuit of a goal. They tend to promote, motivate, get things moving in the right directions. I like to call them the Pied Pipers of a team. Others are going to follow their confident, high energy lead. So let's talk about communication styles. What is a communication style? I'm going to read a quote actually. Communication style is a person's communication patterns and preferences that they use in a wide variety of situations. Super. However, doing what comes naturally is only sometimes a reliable recipe for success in communicating. Everybody, so let's talk about this. Everybody, whether they know it or not, has a natural, generally unconscious communication style that they use without thinking. Okay. Comes from our childhood, comes from experience. And you can achieve the best results by adapting your style to the style of the person that you're speaking with. Is that easy? Hell no. It's really hard. It's really hard to know what everyone's communication styles are. But when you adapt it to another person, it takes it takes energy because you're doing something that is not natural for you. And if forced to adapt for an extended period, we eventually just run out of steam, run out of energy because it's not our style. And then under stress, we tend to revert to our natural communication styles. So adapting is not easy, and it's possible, especially if you engage in Clifton Strengths team workshops to get to know other people's strengths on your team. And we're going to get more into how to do this while utilizing your Clifton Strengths in my next Facebook Live event on October 1st at 12:30 Eastern Time. So I just put out a little carrot there for you. Um, and I want to mention also, so I hope you can join me on October 1st at 12:30 for more in-depth information about your Clifton Strengths and communications. But I do want to also mention that From Within Coaching has many events coming up in the last part of this year. And there's two this month. One is Women Over 50 Clifton Strengths event. It's all online. And that's September 19th 12 p.m. Eastern time, and you can go to fromwithincoaching.com to find that and register. And then there's another one on September 24th, which is Women Over 50 Clifton Strengths Leadership event. And those are both being run by coaches From Within, and they're really full of information and they're fun and there's a lot of dialogue. It's not just someone like me right now, talking head. It's interactive, so it's really fun. Again, I am Mary McClements. I am a trauma and career clarity coach at From Within Coaching. It has been such a pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you in October. All right, take care. Let's see, how do we end this?